Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Good, Bad, Better Show, a show in which I, Drew Allen, will experience something in culture and tell you what's good, what's bad, and what could be better about it. So I'm trying something new, which is I'm trying this video thing in addition to recording the podcast. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just going to dive right in and talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie. So there will be spoilers later. I will let you know ahead of time. But for now, I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. My wife and I saw it opening night because we wanted to screen it to see if it was okay for our 6-year-old to see as her very first time going to the movie theater. She actually watched a lot of Super Mario Brothers during during the pandemic. She was like 4, and actually not even 4 at the time, almost 4, and she was really like into what we during the pandemic. You're in lockdown. I mean, first of all, we broke out our old Wii and we started trying to play through Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, and then after that, we at some point during the pandemic, we ended up getting a Switch after a while because for a while they were scarcer than toilet paper. But then we got the Super Mario Brothers Deluxe for the Switch, and we played through all that. And she got to play with the Nabbit character and all that stuff. So she just fell in love. We actually showed her some of the old sitcom, the old little children's show that Super Mario Brothers show. We showed her some of those episodes, which was she liked those. So it was like the perfect timing for me. Like, she's basically old enough to actually sit through a whole movie in the theater, and this is a perfect movie for her to see. So we screened it. It was great, and then we took her to it a week later, and she absolutely loved it. She did such a great job in the theater. Charlie, I'm so proud of you. You did so good. Just like, enjoying popcorn and a little bit of Skittles, and then just like laughing at the movie. And she took it all in. She understood what was going on. For those who watch Bluey, there's an episode of Bluey where the dad takes the kids to the movie theater, and it's absolute chaos. And both my girls watch a lot of Bluey, and so I was so worried that they were going to take away from Bluey that, like, this is what you do in a movie theater, is drive your dad nuts by running around and wanting candy and wanting bathroom trips and all this stuff. And so I was super proud of Charlie. She did such a great job. And so the movie itself, shockingly phenomenal. This is going to be a relatively short episode because I have nothing but good things to say. So there is no controversy of me diving into, trying to fix giant plot holes or anything like that. Like, it's a great movie. It was surprisingly impressive. I mean, all I really wanted it to be was, because it's Illumination Studios, I think. They do like Despicable Me and like the whole Minions thing, and I never really got into that stuff. The Minions always was like, no, absolutely no interest, no appeal to me whatsoever. And from the hip, it just feels like they're a Pixar wannabe, and so I've never really paid that much attention to them. But man, so my expectations were already low. There was a whole controversy about Chris Pratt trying to be Mario, and that didn't seem like it would be a great fit. I mean, there's so many reasons why the bar was so low for me. All I really wanted was a reasonably safe movie to take Charlie to have it be her first trip to the movie theater. But it was like legitimately very impressive movie. Super enjoyed it. My wife and I loved it on our own. We were laughing. We were engaged. It's so good. That's really all I can say. I mean, I'm gonna get into a little bit here. What was good about it? Well, let's just start with the cast. Lots of great choices made there. Chris Pratt did a great job. He was a believable character. I think that if they had given Mario the super thick Italian accent like they gave him in the games for like his whole character, it would have been a little bit harder to relate to his character, just because it's it's not just that he has like an Italian accent in the games. He has like an extreme, I mean, it is the hyperbole, right? And so it makes it harder to take your character seriously if it's always in that sort of extreme range. And so they did a great job. I thought that was fine. It worked out great. Charlie Day as Luigi. I mean, what you got? Charlie Day, Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black. I mean, goodness gracious. Keegan-Michael Key, Fred Armisen. I mean, Seth Rogen. There's so many great voice talents, so many great voices, so many great performances for the cast, including the bonus. The bonus for me was Charles Martinet, he played Mario's dad in the movie, but he was the original voice of Mario in the games, and that was just, man, so cool that they just did that right. There's so many little things that they did right, and I think that's really the crux of what's good about the movie. Is it is a video game adaptation, and it's an extremely well-loved property, and somehow they absolutely nailed it. And that's so cool, and you don't see that often, and I was just so glad to see that that's what they did. The story of the movie itself, another thing that was good, I like that it was familiar, but it's a familiar plot. It's nothing contrived. It's not that contrived, but it's kind of classic, right? Like, there's Bowser. He's got Peach, and he's gonna, try to take her. And I mean, it's classic. Like, I don't want to do a lot of spoilers, but it's kind of like, it is a classic storyline from the Mario games. However, they subverted it a little bit. They kind of subverted it a little in an interesting way. I thought that made it more, I don't know, it made it better. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and say, if you don't want to get spoiled, then you can probably stop the podcast now, but you should definitely plan to go see the movie because it's great. And I will, let's see, I don't know. I have to put in a little music here. But yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, this is the part where you turn off the podcast. Okay, you're still here. That means you want to get spoiled. But I loved the way they, I'm talking about good things here. I'm talking about the story of Super Mario Brothers movie. It was a classic Super Mario Brothers tale. I appreciated the reference in the way the plot kind of unfolds. Is they're in Brooklyn and they get like sucked through a pipe to this other dimension, which is similar to the original Super Mario Brothers movie. So it was like a nice little homage, but then it was such a classic Mario tale, except that they kind of subverted it. They kind of flipped it, where it was Luigi was the original one that needed rescuing, and Mario and Peach are teaming up. And I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that they sort of kind of abandoned the completely traditional damsel in distress, kind of thing. But then they also kind of had it at the end where, like, yes, at the end, Bowser has Peach, and, even though she kind of handles it on her own. So, but Mario's there to kind of help. Mario still comes in at crucial moments and saves things. So the story was great too. Story was great. Cast was great. And the story had feels. I thought that they did a really good job of not just making the story about the story, but they had this theme kind of woven through the whole thing of like these two brothers trusting each other and being there for each other. And like Luigi, true to form, is, more prone to being scared, and Mario's there for him. And then, of course, in certain times, he's what's the word? Luigi's there for him. Luigi's there for Mario, and I just absolutely love the way that the story played out that way as well, and it kind of gets you in the feels just right, as well as their complicated relationships with their fathers, and that's something that's kind of cool because it kind of goes through with Donkey Kong's character, but they both have this. They find common ground in this complicated relationship of trying to like impress their dads, then try to get their dad's approval and honor and respect or whatever from their dad, and it's tough. It's often tough to do that, and so they kind of bonded over that, and so that was another kind of cool aspect that they finished that up in the end because they both kind of had those moments with their dads. Just I don't know, just good. Great story. What else? There's more good than bad, so let's get it all. Oh, the references. The references were so many, and I loved it. I loved it so much. They obviously paid homage to the TV show cartoon. They paid homage to the movie in the way that they got kind of introduced the plot from Brooklyn. Obviously, there's the Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom, and Peach's Castle, which is reminiscent of Super Mario 64, and then they got the cat suit, Mario 3D World, and Donkey Kong, and obviously Mario Kart. They had a Smash Brothers sequence. They had the little star guy from Galaxy. I'm just scratching the surface because there's so many little references to Nintendo properties and different versions of the Mario stuff. Spike as a character, kind of a low-level antagonist there in the film in Brooklyn, which is, again, from one of the old Mario games. Just so cool. They just threw all this stuff in, and it didn't seem like awkwardly stuffed with references that people don't get. It felt natural. But if you were paying attention, you got them, and you saw them. And it was so cool. Man, it's weird. Like I like playing Mario. I played through most of the games at this point. I kind of had to make up for lost time because I never really had a game system growing up. And so I've been playing most of it on, since we've had a Switch, playing back through the original NES games, the original Super Nintendo games, and highly benefiting from the rewind function that the Switch Online experience provides. Because, as I've mentioned in other previous podcasts, I enjoy video games because they're fun, but I don't feel like it's something that should require me to develop an entirely new skill set and somehow spend my 10,000 hours becoming good enough at a video game to get past this one level and see the next cutscene or something. So I like it when video games are fun. And so the Switch Online redo, the way they have the NES games and the SNES games available to play, but then you can just literally just rewind it just however long you need to redo that part and do it better, is really game-changing, literally. But it's like I've enjoyed the Mario games, but I've never really, cared beyond that for the franchise that much. But man, this movie does a great job of just like, oh, you're in it now. Like this is a universe you care about. This is a universe that's cool, that's appealing, that you enjoy diving into for 2 hours at a time. And so, there's a lot to be had there. But okay, I've talked about how great this movie is. I don't want to say good. It's just great. But was there anything bad for me to even mention? Well, I tried. So let's give it a try here. Okay. I thought that one of the things I did not like, and some of this is going to be repetitive for the better section, but I thought that there was not enough Super Mario Brothers 2 references. For those who might not remember, Super Mario Brothers 2 was the really weird one, and that's because it was actually like, I think Doki, I forgot what it was. It was a completely different movie in Japan, and then got kind of reskinned at the last minute with Mario characters, but the gameplay is very different. You're constantly pulling these like root vegetables out of the ground, and there's no power ups. Like you can't catch a feather and fly. You can't catch a P-wing. You can't get a fireball. You can't get snowballs. All these things that you kind of end up later in the Mario universe is sort of you're on the offense. The only thing you have is these root vegetables that you pick up and throw. You pick them up out of the ground and you throw them. And it's an entire little weird plot where you, at the end of every level, you are walking through a hawk's mouth, a hawk's beak that like opens up when you beat the boss of that level. I mean, it is so like humorously, it's this weird non sequitur in the middle. I say in the middle, obviously it's only the second one, but I'm sorry, my voice is not holding up great. I'm still kind of trying to recover from my weird throat thing, but I was gonna say, I could have used more Super Mario Brothers 2. I think it would have been interesting. Maybe they could have played on kind of a section where they felt weird or whatever. I don't know. The closest thing that Super Mario Brothers 2 gets you in terms of what's referenced in the movie is the fact that Super Mario Brothers 2 was the first game to introduce Toad as a playable character and Peach as a playable character. So, you can be Mario or Luigi or Toad or Peach. And those are the four kind of main protagonists in the movie. So I guess that's kind of their homage to that game, but I could have used more specific, like, let me just dig stuff out of the ground and stuff, and weird, dinosaurs that are spitting giant eggs at me that I have to jump on. Anyways, that would have been cool. So that was kind of a bad for me. I thought maybe perhaps as a parent of a child who was wanting to see the movie, there's one Luigi scene where he's in sort of the lava levels with the dark castle area, and he's being chased by the, kind of skeleton zombie looking things. In the games, they're like these skeleton things, and they just walk around. They're not actively chasing you. Whereas in the game, or in the movie, sorry, they're very much like zombies who are like chasing you down. And so that was a little almost too scary for Charlie. But that's in a very specific nitpick because obviously they're not scary for most people any older than that. So literally that's pretty much all I have in terms of what was bad, theoretically bad about the film. But there were a couple of suggestions I had on how we could make it better, and I'll get through these pretty quick because there's, again, I'm nitpicking. I have to nitpick. That's really all I have. So nitpicking would have been, okay, I wish we had seen Toad some more, and specifically, I wish that we had gotten to see Toad fighting or Toad, I don't know, doing stuff actively. It would have been cool. That's really all. And maybe that would have been better. And maybe that's just because I'm a Keegan-Michael Key fan. Besides that, I wish that Charlie Day's musical talents had been able to synergize with Jack Black's musical talents somehow in the movie. I'm not saying it makes sense that they would do so, but maybe there's a scene where Jack Black or Bowser, after Bowser captures Luigi, Bowser's singing a song about how he's going to kill Mario. Oh, my voice is fading fast here. Maybe Bowser is singing a song about how he's going to kill Mario to Luigi, who's in captivity, and Luigi, Charlie Day, starts singing some sort of opera type style back to him, and they have like a duet. I feel like that would have been amazing. If you haven't watched enough It's Always Sunny to know that Charlie Day has musical talent, and and he also uses it for humor very, very well. I think that that was arguably a missed opportunity. I'm not putting it in bad, but I'm putting it in, it could be better. That would have been better. The movie would be better off with one more musical number that it was a duet between Charlie Day and Jack Black. And then, as I even mentioned earlier, Super Mario Brothers 2 would have been cool to have some more references there. And last but not least is Nabbit. So Nabbit's in Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers Deluxe for Switch. And it's like this, he's a little crook looking. I mean, he's a little guy. I don't know what else to call him. And he is slow and he can't jump that high, but he's invincible. Like most things don't hurt him at all. So just a thought, just a tiny thought. Maybe that would be cool. Or maybe you could do same thing with the Rabbids from the Mario Rabbids kind of franchise. You could have thrown those in. But again, these are incredible nitpicks because the movie was absolutely fantastic. And really, that's all I got to say. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. And more importantly, if you have seen it, what did you think? That's what I want to hear. I want to know what you think about this movie. So you can give us a call, 352-340-3038, 352-340-3038. That's the number you can call and leave a voicemail. Tell me what you thought of the movie. I did get a little bit of feedback here recently that I'm excited to share with you, but I won't be able to do that right now because I want to do the video thing. And I don't know, it just wasn't quite, I'm not quite as sophisticated to do all that yet, but I will be doing a little bit of a feedback episode soon. And maybe if you get in your feedback here in time, I can include your feedback in the feedback episode and we'll talk about Mario and all that jazz. So yeah, that's it. Follow us on Instagram at Good Bad Better Show. Hit us up on the voicemail line 352-340-3038. And so I will see you in the next one. Peace.